Well, hello, everybody. I sure hope you can see me. We're having all kinds of what they'd call backstage drama right now. Excuse me. My internet's been crashing. I've got to keep my phone up on the front dash to have enough signal to do this video. I don't think we're broadcasting on LinkedIn right now. If we're not, I'll post a link at the end of this video so that the folks that watch through LinkedIn can see it. Just a bunch of craziness going on behind the scenes, but you guys don't care about that. Y'all want to know what's been going on, and so my life honestly has been kind of boring lately. So I figured, what the heck? Let's cause some trouble. Let's talk about other people, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. I will kind of tell you what's going on with me as well. Before we do that, though, let's jump up here and say hello to our 5 channel members. Most of them will not be here tonight. One of them is with a friend in Oklahoma City tonight, and so he's not going to be able to watch. And one of the big things I was going to talk about tonight, well, I'll get to in a second. Let's say hi to the channel members. We got Robbie Ross, Ramon, Adam, Regnar, and Gary Cook, who are all channel members. And all of them have been channel members for at least 5 months. So they're starting to get the different colored badges and all of that. As far as my uncle, Racing Ray, I know I always get questions about his health, things like that. He's doing pretty good right now. Today is his birthday. And I don't know how old he is. I guess that makes me a bad nephew. I think he's 28 or 30. I'm joking. He's in his 60s, but I don't know his exact age. He took it off of Facebook, so I can't go on there and look. But him and his 3 kids and the wife and his son-in-law, they're all having a cookout at his house tonight, or I don't guess it's a cookout. They're cooking it indoors. But anyway, they're having a get-together at his house tonight, and he may pop in at some point, but I wouldn't be surprised if he don't. So I doubt he'll be here tonight. And then, like I said, another one of my friends that's normally in here won't be here tonight because he's got prior arrangements. You guys know I try to do these videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so this one being kind of an impromptu one, I wasn't sure how many people would be here tonight. And frankly, right now, I could be talking to myself. I don't know if my internet is strong enough to broadcast out. I was really upset that I couldn't do a video last night, but just, again, signal not cooperating with me. I'm having a lot of trouble with AT&T lately. They used to be great, and it's not been that way lately. And everybody's had a suggestion about what carrier I should be with, things like that. I think I've got a solution. I've been testing an alternate carrier the last couple of months, last 3 or 4 months, and I'm just about ready to fully commit to that carrier. And when I do, I'll share that with you in case you're also struggling with signal issues like that as well. So let's see here. Let's get a few comments, and then we'll start talking about people. First one in here tonight was a good friend and channel member, Gary Cook, says, hello, I'm listening from Indianapolis, Indiana this evening. Good to have you here, sir. I am in, heck, I don't know where I'm at. I think I'm in, well, shoot, I don't know where I'm at. Let me just find out real quick. Hey, Siri. Where am I? Even Siri doesn't know where I'm at. Well, I'm on Interstate 90. I'm in South Dakota somewhere on Interstate 90. I think I'm around Chamberlain, somewhere like that. It's really, really windy here. I've been up in Montana, and I've had a less than favorable cell phone signal experience. I've been kind of running this area a lot, kind of going from Montana down into New Mexico through Colorado back up through there. A lot of time on I-25, I-90. Right now, I'm on a load going to, it's a little town in Missouri just outside of Kansas City. Delivers day after tomorrow. And then I'm picking up a load in Kansas City that's going to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And then I'm picking up a load in El Paso that's going over to Amarillo. And it's been really, really weird lately. I've had to work really hard to find loads until today. And then today, I didn't have any trouble booking loads. I booked most of that stuff I just read back to you today. So I don't know what changed in the market, but today was a lot better. Brokers were willing to negotiate a lot more, and overall just a lot better day. And so we'll get a couple more comments in, and then I'll tell you what else is going on. Roger Berry's here. He says, I'm here somewhere north of Memphis, Tennessee, heading to Houston for Friday morning. That sounds like a fun next couple of days. And Michael is here. Says, Trucker Todd. Yes, sir. Glad to have you with us again. Michael, what's going on in your world? If you see me glance off to the right, since my phone didn't work, I got my tablet over here and I can read comments on there because sometimes StreamYard will not always show you all the comments. P.U. Patel says, good evening, Sir Todd. Good evening. Jerry says, we need to pee on Swift. It's on fire. Yeah, I guess we can take a few minutes and talk about Swift. They made an announcement this week, and there's a lot of people that's really excited about it. Now, I'm going to have to walk a tightrope here because I liked my time at Swift. I did very well there. Swift treated me very, very well. You can go back and watch the videos. There was a lot of things they did for me. One of them being letting me beta test the load board, which upset a lot of people. A lot of people didn't think it was fair Trucker Todd had access to a load board. Oh boy, I think okay, I'm back. They did a lot of things like that. So I've got a soft spot in my heart for Swift. Even now, when people call me and ask me about my experiences at Swift, you know, they're like, hey, now that you don't work there, tell me the truth. What's it really like? Well, I don't know about now. It's over 2 years ago since I worked there. But back when I worked there, it was not a bad place to work. I've worked it a lot worse in my life. Now, having said that, they just did something that I'm not a huge fan of. I feel like now they're taking advantage of drivers. And it's voluntarily taking advantage. The drivers have a choice in this. But Swift came out with their percentage pay plan. And it looks good on the surface. I wasn't planning on talking about it tonight, so I don't have the graphic loaded into my computer. If you guys are interested, I can do a video in the coming days. But basically what it says is they're not giving you 70% of the line haul. They're not giving you 70% of what they collect. They're giving you 70% of what they determine market value is. It says that they will determine market value by their own internal methods and by third-party sources. So basically, what that means in layman's terms, what that means in English is they're going to give you 70% of whatever they want to. And they're going to pray, in my opinion, so I don't get sued, in my opinion, they're going to prey on unsuspecting drivers that have always heard percentage is better. And these guys are going to walk around with their chest puffed out. I'm making 70%. I'm making 70%. And it's not apples to apples or oranges to oranges. We're talking about I'm getting 82% of whatever I negotiate on the spot market. And I see the actual rate con, which stands for rate confirmation or rate contract, either one. And it basically means that I'm getting 82% of whatever the load pays, whatever the line haul is. And I'm getting 100% of the accessorial charges, like if there's layover, if there's detention, things like that. So I'm already getting 12% more. But do you know who determines market share, market value? Me and the broker when we're negotiating on the phone. It's they used to have a saying in the car business, how much is a car worth? And the answer is, it's not what Blue Book says, it's not what your neighbor says. A car's worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it. And a load is worth as little as somebody willing to haul it for. And here are guys that are getting $1.15 a mile currently, plus fuel surcharge. So they're usually around $1.45, $1.50. And they're going to be thinking they're getting a killing if they get a load for $1.50. And, that's just not the case. Also, it's more like what Swift is doing now is more like an all-in rate, like what Schneider's been doing the last couple of years, where they figure your fuel surcharge in one rate, and they say, this is what the load pays you. And I'm just not a fan. First of all, 70% is on the low side, and I know some of you Landstar lovers are going to come on here and go, yeah, but I only get 65 with Landstar. I still think Swift is probably a better way to go than Landstar for a drive van. Now, if you're pulling a step deck or oversized or something, then that's a totally different discussion. But, the sad thing is, there's people, and everybody's going to think they know who I'm talking about when I say this. I'm not talking about anybody specific. There's people at Swift right now that are going to make a fortune in recruiting because people don't know. They don't know what they don't know. They're going to hear 70%, and I get a pretty truck, and they're going to sign up, and 2 or 3 months later, they're going to be gone because when you do that 70%, and I don't know if you can be dispatched on that or if you have to run their load board, but let's look at it both ways. Let's say that you have a good paying load in your Swift transportation. Let's say you've got a great paying load. Are you going to give that load to your owner operators where you've got to give 70% of it away? Or are you going to take care of your company trucks? And I would submit to you whenever possible, they're going to put as many of those loads as they can on their company trucks. Now, let's say that it's the other way. You're a fairly inexperienced driver. Let's say you got 2 years experience. You don't know diddly squat about freight lanes, about freight markets, what an actual freight rate should be. Heck, most of them don't even know what their fixed expenses are, what their operating costs are, how much it costs them per mile to operate their truck. They'll just come up with a round number. Todd, it costs me $1 a mile. Costs me $1.27 a mile. They'll just make up numbers. And you start asking them questions. Well, how did you figure that? What did you include in that? Oh, I included everything. No, they just pulled a number out of the air. So I've been thinking about this, and this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I've been trying to figure out why it took them so long to come out with this. And I think I've figured it out. I believe, and again, I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. Keep that in mind. Go get your own attorney for legal advice. Don't take legal advice from me. I believe the reason it took so long was not because they was fine-tuning how to pay drivers more than $1.15 a mile. I believe this was bouncing around in their legal department to make sure they wasn't going to get sued like some other trucking companies have for claiming they were given a percentage of a load and not really giving that percentage, taking a cut off the top and then giving you 70% of that. And this is how you get around it. I think what Swift did was brilliant from their standpoint. You say, we're going to give you 70% of what we think market value is. Now, you notice there's no driver input in that. There's no drivers going, well, it costs me $1.80 a mile to operate my truck, so I think market value should be this. No, it's whatever Swift thinks market value is. You're going to get 70% of what Swift thinks that load should pay. And like I said, if anybody doubts what I'm saying, I'll make a video. I'll show you their very own graphic off of their very own website. And that's what I believe took so long, was they were bouncing this through their legal department. And I think they're safe right now. I was talking about it with a guy the other day, and he said, oh, man, they're going to get sued. And I was like, I don't think they're going to get sued this time. They may get sued, but I think Swift will win this one because they never claimed to be giving you 70% of what the load paid. And they're not going to show you rate confirmations anyway. All right, so speaking of that, a very, very good friend of mine is getting ready to come over here to SRO Logistics with me. I'm excited for him. He'll be coming on the channel within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. And I believe he starts orientation tomorrow, definitely by Friday. So I'm excited for him and the opportunities and the doors this will open for him. And then we'll read a few more comments, and I'll tell you what happened to another friend of mine and how he almost got screwed over on a warranty deal. And Adam, who is a moderator, says, hear from the farm. He's also a channel member, but it doesn't show there. He's got 2 accounts. Says, here from the farm, just got done polishing wheels. I'll hop back on when I leave the farm. Well, it's good to have you tonight, my friend. And Steve Given is here. He says hello. Hello, Steve. Gary Cook, channel member, sounds like what Super Ego is doing. Well, where Super Ego went wrong, and again, I'm not a lawyer, do your own research. My understanding is Super Ego was saying they were given 88% of the load, what the load paid. And it wasn't actually 88%. They were taking a cut and then giving you 88%. Up front, in Rice, these guys don't read their contracts anyway, but they're telling you up front, hey, we're not going to give you, 70% of the load. We're going to give you 70% of whatever we think market value should be. Let me just ask a hypothetical question, not talking about Swift here. How many of you think that what should be will be favorable to them or more favorable to the driver? And how many loads do you think will come out where the driver gets above that $1.15 a mile? And how many of them you think are going to come out below that? First of all, and this is where I think that, in my opinion, they're taking advantage of drivers. There's a big difference. First of all, like what I'm doing, it's on the spot market. It deals with market rates. What Swift is a contract rate. They do a contract, usually annually, for what the rates are going to be. Now, there is some fluctuations for fuel and things like that. So market value, especially in the contract market, depends on your salespeople, how good your salespeople are. But, I mean, it could be, they win both ways saying it this way. If the contract rates are really good and the spot market's down like it has been, they can say, well, we're giving you 70% of what the market is. And if contract rates go down and spot market rates go up, they can say, well, we're only getting this amount, so this is what we got to give you. it allows them to talk out of both sides of their mouth. And I'm just not a fan. Now, the one thing I do like about it, because I'm going to be fair, is it is optional. If you want to stay on the mileage pay, you can. If you want to be dispatched, you can. They're still giving the drivers options. But also, it's my understanding that they're adding the Netrodyne cameras like what Prime has if you use the Swift insurance as an owner-operator. If you get your insurance on your own outside OIDA or 10-4, somebody like that, you don't have to get the Netrodyne cameras at this time. But you know it sure be. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure what the last thing was y'all heard me say. If somebody will put in the comments the last thing you heard me say, I'll go back and redo it. Meanwhile, I'm going to scroll up a couple of comments. Actually, I'm going to carry on where I was at. If there was something y'all missed, if it went mute for a little while, just tell me and I'll go back and circle around again. Tell me the last comment y'all saw. And Steve Givens said, "You haul B trains ever? You haul B trains ever?" I have not. I don't even know what a B train is. I'll be honest. I have hauled doubles and triples. Is that maybe what we're talking about? We called them land trains back then. Green Star Logistic LLC, Mercer better than Landstar and Swift. Yeah, I can tell you point blank, I would never go to Landstar. I think there was a time when Landstar was probably the best place to work. 80s, 90s, they had a great reputation, maybe even in the 2000s. But I just think there's better places to work in this day and age. I think competition caught up with them. And as far as Swift, I loved working at Swift. I would definitely go back under the right circumstances. But I'm also not going to come on here and tell you when they offer a pay package that I think is bad. And I think 70% of whatever they want to give you is a bad pay package. And I know some troll is going to challenge me at some point. No, 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 Todd. I talked to my dispatcher. They're going to show me the rate cons, and I'm going to get 70%. And as soon as I get one of those, I'll make a video and show y'all the actual stuff from Swift, what it says. We'll zoom in and read the fine print. No Name Trucker, Mr. Storyteller. Alrighty. Yeah, I've got some stories tonight. Let me tell you another one real quick. They give y'all some time to type out your comments. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, 11 months ago, bought 2 batteries from Petro, or TA or Petro 1 in North Baltimore, and drove the truck 11 months. The 2 batteries went out. He has his receipt. He stopped somewhere, I think in Ohio, and says, hey, I've got 2 batteries that I bought 11 months ago. They've gone bad. I need to get them replaced. They test the batteries as is customary. They go, you know what? You're right. These 2 batteries are bad. And but we don't know if they're covered under warranty or not. He says, why not? I've got my receipt right here. Shows him the receipt. It clearly states 12 months. He's clearly within the warranty period. They say, well, we've got to call that TA Petro in North Baltimore and see if they're going to honor the warranty. Now, I'm sure you can imagine how that goes. They call and they go, no, we're not going to honor it. So he decides he's going to just replace all 4 batteries. He's tired of dealing with it. He just wants to have 4 new batteries. He replaces all 4 batteries and contacts his company. And this is where working for a mid-size carrier can be a good deal. He contacts his mid-size carrier. They say, hey, we have a rep with TA Petro. We're going to let our rep handle this. A couple of days later, TA Petro comes back, and they decide I don't know why it keeps cutting my mic off. Ultimately, TA Petro Corporate ends up replacing all 4 batteries, doing the right thing. But it's a shame that it should come to that. If you've got a 12-month warranty, it should be good for 12 months. Think of it the other way. If he'd have been 2 weeks past the 12 months, what would they have said? We'd love to cover it, but you're outside of the warranty. But with him being clearly within inside the warranty, I just think it's crazy that you have to get reps involved to get a company to do the right thing. And man, I hate to hear that. I'm used to problems with Loves. It's just a shame that TA Petro's the same way, or at least that North Baltimore location was. Like I said, ultimately corporate did do the right thing. And Alaska Hall's in here saying hi to everybody. And Delon says, checking in from New Jersey. Good to have you here, my friend. Thank you for joining us. The comments have kind of slowed down. Like I said, I caught everybody by surprise coming in here tonight. Wasn't sure how many people would be here. I've had some technical issues even while being on the air. Not sure how much of this show y'all have heard. But while we're waiting on people to type more comments, would you hit that subscribe button. Wait a second, hit the bell, select all so that you receive notifications when future videos come out. You heard me mention that a very good friend of mine's coming to SRO Logistics this week. If you've got your own truck and you'd like to come to SRO Logistics, or at least get more information about it, find out why I'm always talking good about them, email safety@srologistics.com. If you got something you want to talk about with me privately, you don't want it in the comments, email me at todd@truckertodd.net. You can also go check out the website, which is www.truckertodd.net. All of those things greatly help me out, and I would appreciate you doing each of them. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we still don't have any comments. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to check out of here. Like I said, we got some crazy weather up here. It's raining and the wind's blowing. You may see the truck shake from time to time. We're just missing some of the Gorilla Gang tonight, so I wasn't sure how well this is going to turn out. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to catch this on the replay. You're either doing something or watching somebody else, and you'll be back later tonight to catch it on the replay. All right, let's see. Delon Parkinson says, I'm looking for a good driver for my second truck I just bought. All right, give us some details and how people can reach you. Put it in the comments and I'll throw it up on the screen. Also, what kind of truck you got? What part of the country do you run? Just kind of tell us a little bit about you and your company, what kind of driver you're looking for, what they'll be hauling, things like that. And then put your email or phone number, whatever you're comfortable giving. And I don't mind putting it up on the screen and people can contact you for more information. Green Star Logistics, LLC. I am in South Dakota on Interstate 90 somewhere, headed to Lee's Summit, Missouri is where I'm headed to. Got a Friday morning delivery in Lee's Summit, and then I'm picking up another load in Kansas City. But right now I'm on I-90 in South Dakota. And Gary Cook, channel member, Chattanooga got hit with a bunch of rain. I-24 was flooded. Oh man, that's not good. I haven't heard. I've been kind of out of pocket here lately. I got to get caught up on everything. I did a bunch of news videos this weekend, and some of them did really well. Some of them had close to 10,000 views on TikTok. They may be over 10,000 now. And so I did some of that. They didn't do so well on YouTube. That stuff's kind of hit and miss. That's why I put it on so many different social media platforms. You just never know where it's going to take off. Another story about me this week. Man, I don't know if it's like this where y'all are at, but that was a fly on my camera. The flies have been horrific, and I got some fly spray. Let me get it real quick and spray so they'll go away. Yeah, come back now. All right, Delon Parkinson says it's a 2017 Freightliner, and the person's going to be hauling dry van. I know several people that may be interested in that, looking for a company job. How can they reach you? Put it on screen here, and either by phone or email, whatever you want. And when my friends watch this video, maybe they'll contact you. B Money Go says, how are you, brother? Hope everything's good. Yes, sir. I like that name. I don't know that I've seen you in here before, but it's good to have you. B Money Go. Thank you for coming in here tonight. Gary Cook, channel member, wants Delon to say what the pay is. And my good friend Ted Van Buskirk is also here. He says, hello, sir. Glad to see you on here. Yes, sir. We just had a guy come on here, Ted, that he's got a 2017 Freightliner, and he's looking for a company driver to haul a dry van. His name is Delon Parkinson, and Gary was asking him what the pay is, so maybe he'll put some more details up here in a minute. So those of you that might be interested can see what it is. Green Star Logistics LLC, did you hear about the Z train from Union Pacific to compete with truck team drivers from LA to Chicago? No, I'm going to have to, on that stuff, if you guys see any interesting news stories that you'd like me to comment on, email them to me at todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll take a look at them. And if I think I can make them interesting, or if I think I can put my 2 cents in on it, I'll make a video about it. And I'll even give you a shout out in the video. But that really helps me with content for the channel. People always ask me, Todd, what's it? I think I lost my channel again. There it went. What's the hardest part about being a YouTuber? The hardest part's coming up with content. I've made almost 700 videos. I think we're at like 660, 670 now. And it's just hard to come up with new content. So when y'all can send me stuff like that, gives me things to talk about and share with y'all. I tell people, and trucking's not my favorite subject, but pick your favorite subject, whatever you think it is, and imagine talking about it for 10 minutes at a time for 700 times. It's really, really tough after a while to come up with content. And that's why these lives help me a lot, because interacting with y'all gives me some ideas of things to talk about. And then when y'all send me emails of news stories and stuff, that also helps me keep the channel going. And so for those of you that are saying, hey, Todd, how can I support the channel? I don't have any money right now, trucking stuff. I get it, trust me, trucking is tough right now. And I have weeks that I struggle. Most weeks I struggle. Not because I don't make a lot of money, but just because everything's so expensive. And this is one of the ways you can help. If you see a good news story or something like that, or you experience something that teaches you something in trucking, email it to me or text me if you got my number. And it gives me things to talk about on here and keep the channel going. Delon Parkinson says, I'm currently leased on to Snyder, so my truck would be leased to Snyder, and I'll be doing the dispatching as well. So there you go. You would, for those of you that are interested in what Delon's offering, basically, he'd be picking loads for you off of Snyder's vast freight network. And sounds like he's got a pretty nice 2017 truck. Delon, give us an email or a phone number so people can reach out to you. Gary Cook, channel member, I'd like to see Scott do a lease purchase. I think Scott would be a good company to drive for. He's a great company to drive for. I just, I don't know that he's got the heart for doing a lease purchase anytime soon. It, you know, we had DIY Semi in the comments a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the last 2 trucks that he had to go pick up that drivers abandoned. One of them cost him $6,500 refurbish it. One cost him $10,000. We got to keep in mind Scott's still a company. I think he's got 5 or 6 trucks right now, about to have another one come on. If he had a couple of lease purchase trucks, and they both abandoned the trucks in bad condition, just imagine how hard that could be on a small business. And plus, he also still drives, and it would mean, what if the guy quits in Seattle? He's got to leave Gulfport, Mississippi, go to Seattle, fly up there, pick up the truck, Who knows what condition it's in when he gets there. He's got to drive it back to Gulfport and refurbish it, or pay some shop in Seattle exorbitant fees to fix it up there. I just don't. I don't think he sees a lot of value in it at this point. Now, ask him again when he's got 15 or 20 trucks, and you may get an entirely different answer. But right now, and I don't blame him, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably continue to do exactly what he's doing. Kind of an if it ain't broke, don't fix it type deal. And really, in this day and age, I do agree with you, Gary, but in this day and age, you can get a decent truck for 5,000 down. And there's a lot of company drivers that are making 1,500 a week. So if they lived on half of that and put half of it in a savings account, they could have the money in 8 to 10 weeks to just go buy their own truck and come to Scott. Here I actually agree with D-Line. If my computer will work. Well, my computer has froze again. There it goes. D-Line says, I'm only talking about pay once contact. You don't blame you. It's the same thing about doing videos on YouTube. It doesn't matter what number D-Line says. He can say, I'm paying drivers $10,000 a week. And somebody will come on there and go, oh, well, D-Line's ripping people off. I make $12,000 a week. So I don't blame him. And he probably wants to have a little freedom to discuss it based on a guy's experience, where they live, what their home time requirements are, things like that. For example, I knew a guy that passed away last year, I believe, that he stayed out 6 months at a time. You could probably pay a guy that stays out 6 months at a time differently than you pay a guy that I got to be home every weekend. So I don't blame him at all for not wanting to give numbers on here. But D-Line, you got to give me an email or a phone number or something so people can contact you. It sounds like there's a lot of interested people, or at least 2 that I see. And there'll be more when the replay goes out. Good friend Mark Ely says, what's up, everyone? Not much, Mark. Good to see you again. Gary Cook, channel member, I like to be self-dispatch. I enjoy it too. The one thing I've learned, though, since I started doing it, I've been doing it about 4 years or so. The thing I learned about it is not everybody can do it, and it's not an insult to anybody. Some people are not good at thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. For example, I just mentioned that I've booked several loads. I'm covered through Tuesday of next week. That means I've got to know about how long each load takes to do, and if I'll have hours to do the next load, about how long it'll take to get unloaded for each load, if I can make it to my next pickup on time. And you'd be surprised how many people can't do that. They just go in there and start clicking, I'll take this, I'll take that, like a grocery wish list. And then when it comes time to run the loads, they don't have the hours, or they're tired, or they don't feel good. And I've seen the freedom of self-dispatch hurt a lot of guys, because you can go home whenever you want. You can pass by the house whenever you want. You can stay as long as you want. But you've got to make sure that load, whatever you signed on that rate confirmation that you're going to do, you got to make sure it gets done. Green Star Logistic LLC, starting September 3rd, will be 30% cheaper. We'll take 400 loads a day from that lane. Okay, I see. Yeah, I bet so, because they'll be able to cover a lot more. Sorry, it took my brain a second to catch up. So he's talking about that LA to Chicago deal. Yeah, I mean, I know some guys that's going to affect. I ran a load similar to that sometimes for Roadrunner when I was doing LTL freight. But I mean, it is what it is. That's trucking. Things change, lanes change, and if you know it's coming September 3rd, and that's a route you normally do, you just got to start planning for it and what you're going to do next. And the birthday boy himself is here. Moderator Racing Ray says, "Hey yo, happy birthday to Racing Ray." He says, "Just gonna check in for a minute. All the game is all the. I think he meant gang. All the gang is over here helping me mourn my birthday." Yeah, he's taking this birthday a little too hard, but I'm glad he's celebrating, having fun tonight. And this is a rare occasion where he's got all of his children there at once. His daughter and his two sons are all there. Son-in-law. It, with everybody's busy life and everything everybody has going on, it's just hard to get everybody in the same room at once. And that's what I'm most happy for, that he's able to spend time with the whole gang all at once. His daughter-in-law, his son-in-law, his grandchild. It's just good that so many of his family could be there at once. Gary Cook, channel member. I haven't been home since May, but I have to put the truck first. Yeah, everybody's got their priorities, and it's not my place to tell you what should be first or what should not be. For me personally, a work-life balance is most important to me. I like being able to go to church 2 or 3 Sundays a month. I like being out here on the road. I like spending time with family too. So right now I'm working a lot more than I usually do just because of the way the economy is. But I think most of my family knows that I'd rather be there with them than out here doing this. And I do pass through there quite a bit, even if it's just for an overnight visit or something. But we all got to do what we got to do. Delon says, "Todd, you can contact me and I can show you my numbers and you can relay to the guys." Yeah, I don't know. Do I have a phone number or anything? I believe you about the numbers. It's just, I don't like to be the middle guy or endorse companies that I don't really know a lot about. What I'd rather do is just get you in contact with people that are interested. That way they can ask you the questions and you can ask them the questions, and go from there. The only trucking company for sure that I can say is good right now is SRO Logistics, is because that's where I'm at. But I'm sure what you're doing is great too. I would just rather put you in direct contact with the drivers and let y'all hammer out the details amongst yourself. Plus, those that know that's tried to call me, I can be very hard to get a hold of. And so I hate to add anything else to my plate. And then everybody's frustrated with me when I can't be there to play middleman. But I'd be happy to put you in touch with whoever if somebody wants to get your email or phone number or something like that. Alaska Hall. What did I miss? Well, I told about 4 stories so far that I can remember, maybe more. And somebody called me a storyteller. And I talked about Swift's new 70% pay package. Just a lot of things. If you get a chance, if you're driving tonight, don't look at your screen. Turn your screen away from you, but listen to the replay. And we haven't done anything visual yet where you need to watch. So you can just listen like you would a podcast. And who knows, maybe I'll turn this into a podcast soon. It wouldn't be that hard to put it on some of the Spotify's and other podcasts like that. So we may do that. That may be the next frontier for Trucker Todd. say first time on live for this person. I always watch the replay only because I'm always grinding. Yeah, I get it. And I just, man, I'd feel terrible if one of y'all got a ticket for distracted driving. So if you watch me while you drive, if I help you stay awake at night, just make sure you've got your phone down on the dash where you can't see your screen, or on the passenger seat, or something where you can't visibly see it, and you're just listening through your radio, through the Bluetooth on your radio or your headset, or however you do it. But I appreciate everybody that watches either on the replay or coming in here live. I really like the live because you guys keep the chat going, keep the conversation. I was saying that I appreciate people being in the live because the comments kind of keep the show going and give me things to talk about, and I get to hear what's going on in your lives. But I also appreciate the replay gang, and some of y'all leave comments as well. There's a place for everybody here. I think that's what makes this channel cool. Doesn't matter where you're from, or if you think everything I say is genius, or you think I'm an idiot. I still appreciate you being here, even when you disagree with me. And yeah, just don't get a ticket. Be careful out there. Protect your CDL. And Hillbilly Trucking says, hello there, sir. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. Todd Packer, I was just on Fly Rabbit's channel. He was saying you were talking bad about some people. I don't think I've talked bad about anybody tonight. I purposefully put that title that way to trigger some people. But I think the people I talked about, one of them had a warranty issue, and he got that resolved. One of them got a new truck, and he was about to come to SRO Logistics. One of them, let's see, what was the other one? Anyway, it was just stories about what was going on in people's lives this week. But, some people, well, I'm not even going to comment on them. People that watch the videos see what was actually said, and everybody else just watches hoping I'll say what they wish I'd say. And it doesn't really matter what I say because they accuse me of saying whatever they wish I'd say. So, I mean, yeah, whatever he says is fine with me. Delon says, let us all hit the thumbs up. Yeah, please do. Hit the thumbs up. Another thing it does that I never talk about on here, when you subscribe and hits the thumbs up, it drives the trolls nuts. They freaking hate it. And that makes it worth it right there. I've said in past videos, it's been a couple of years now, but there's been several times in my life I've thought, you know what, I'm going to quit YouTube. I'm just tired. I'd like to go back to being a normal person. And then a troll will say something stupid, and I know I really got under their skin. And it just makes me want to keep going. And so if a little 1,700 subscriber channel wants to make up stuff I said, wants to talk crap, let him do it. So what? The only reason he's got 1,700 is because I promoted him so hard on my channel. He's got the same 200 or 300 people that watch him, and 40% of those are trolls with different troll accounts that he's blocked that can't comment no more. But if that's what he wants to do over there, I mean, I guess I live in his brain rent free, and that's fine. He can think about me all the time. But yeah, no, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we talk, other than him, have we talked bad about anybody tonight? Gary Cook, channel member. If you get a ticket, send it to Todd. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, and then when I get it, I can put return to sender on it. No, don't get a ticket. Watch my shows. Watch every one of them from start to finish. And whatever you do, watch the commercials. That helps the most. That's how, for those that don't know, that's how YouTubers get paid. We get paid off the commercials and the channel memberships and things like that. So if you want to help the channel, don't have any money, watch the commercials. You don't have to listen to them. You can mute them and watch the videos start to finish. That also helps the channel algorithms and things. And sharing the video helps the channel a lot. I shared out a really funny video today to a group chat I'm in. And so I share videos. I'm practicing what I preach. And I hope you'll do the same. All right. I'm going to sit here for a second and drink some drink, and soft drink that is. And hopefully y'all will type some more comments. If not, we'll check out of here. We're right about the 1 hour mark. When I first started doing these live shows, a very large YouTuber was giving me advice. He had around 38 or 40,000 subscribers. And he said, always cut your lives off at just an hour. And I'd watch his, and he'd go an hour and a half. He'd go 2 hours. But he thought I should cut mine off at exactly an hour. And he said, yeah, it's good for the analytics. And he said, then he said, when the lives started doing really well, he said, don't do lives. Lives kill a channel. Go back to recorded videos. And I said, well, why do you do lives every week? He was doing 2 or 3 lives a week. Why aren't you doing more recorded videos? And never really got a straight answer out of him. And so I basically took that to mean I'm going to keep doing what I do. And same thing with videos. Anytime I've done a video where somebody suggested, hey, Todd, you should do a video talking about this, nobody watches. It's some of my lowest watched videos. And when I do a video about something I want to talk about, it gets a lot more views. And so I've just decided to kind of do what I do. And that's why I tell y'all, send me comments and news stories in my email. And if I think I can make something good of it, I will. If not, I won't waste your time or my time making the video. I'll just read it and learn from it and move on. But I definitely appreciate when y'all send stuff like that. Todd Packer, so are you and Fly Rabbit cool? From the way he talks about you, sounds like there's nothing there. So I haven't spoke to Fly Rabbit in a couple of months. I don't have any personal beefs with him, unless he's on his channel saying what they said he said, that I'm over here talking bad about people or something like that. If he's spreading falsehoods about me, then I would have a problem with that, obviously. But I don't have any personal beefs with Fly Rabbit. He's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. We haven't talked in a few months, and I don't know that there's really anything we have to discuss. He's got my number. I've got his number. If we feel like there is something we need to discuss at some point, then I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But let me say one more thing on this. It's just, and maybe some people don't understand it, but we're just running in different circles right now. He's pulling contract freight in the southeast, from what I understand, or say the eastern part of the country, for a mega carrier. And he's recruiting and doing very well over there, I hear. And I'm running the spot market, and I kind of run out west a lot more. And so we're running in different circles. And I know the YouTube world would love it if there was conflict between us. if there was drama. But we're just kind of both doing our own thing. Like I said, he's got my number. He's got my email, todd@truckertodd.net. And we talk to some of the same people, and so we run in some of the same circles. So I guess if he needs to talk to me at some point, he's got the ability to do that. And if I need to talk to him at some point, I've got the ability to do that. But our channels are vastly different in size and scope, and even what we talk about and what we do. And so there's not really any reason for us to talk. We're just in different circles. Maybe when his channel grows, or at some point there will be a necessity for us to interact. But at this point, I can't think of any reason that he and I really need to talk. Big Tony, hey, trucker, starting my hotshot adventure in 4 months. What do you think of the Rand McNally GPS? So I actually have both here on the truck. I have the Rand McNally, what is it, the 7 Pro, the one that has satellite radio and all that in it. I don't even think they make it anymore. And I also have the Garmin, and they've both got their pros and cons. I like the Rand McNally. However, I feel like the Garmin, the maps are a little bit better detailed. They look a little bit better. And it could just be that 7 Pro 2 or whatever it is that I got, that Rand McNally. I think I did a review comparison of the two. If you can go back and find that video. And I think that the problem my Rand McNally had was it tried to do too many things at once. You know, it tried to be a GPS. It tried to be a satellite radio. It tried to, you know, be a dash cam. And it was just too much for it. If you got a more basic Rand McNally, I'm sure they're fine. But in my experience, the Garmin, the maps have been a little better as far as detail when you put them side by side. And so I think it's kind of like the old Ford versus Chevy thing. It's just comes down to personal preference and what you like. For me personally, I find myself using the Garmin a lot more than the Rand McNally. But if the Garmin went down, I wouldn't have any problem switching back to the Rand McNally. So Delon says, I just don't understand how people can or have him recruit them. That blows my mind. Well, you know, a couple of years ago, I got accused of the same thing. And the difference is there's people at Swift that love me and people at Swift that hate me. Same could be said for Dart. Same could be said for Roadrunner. And it's because I called it like an umpire. I told the good and the bad. All of the companies love you when you only say the good. They stop liking you when you say some of the bad. And I can honestly say that I've recruited between all my companies somewhere around 100 people, maybe a little over 100 people. I've never had one single person come up to me and say, Todd, I feel like you ripped me off. Todd, I feel like you lied to me. Now, I've had some people come up to me and said, yeah, Todd, it was great when I started, like you said, and then things change. Companies do change, and that can happen. But I feel really proud. I'm most proud of the fact nobody's ever accused me of, lying to them to get a referral bonus or nothing like that. And I think the easiest way to recruit for those of you with YouTube channels that want to recruit is just drive the truck and be successful and continue making videos. If you're happy somewhere, people see it. You don't have to say, put my referral link. I remember at Swift, and this is what I think helped me a lot. I would tell people, whether you put me as your referral or not, I'm going to help you because I play for the Swift team. I want Swift to do well while I'm here. And so, yes, I would love the referral bonus. I'll gladly take the money, but either way, you can still email me. I'll still help you. We've got YouTubers out there right now that says on their video, if you don't put me as your referral bonus, I can't help you. And I just think that's the wrong message to send. So I think there's a lot of people, unless it's thoroughly explained to them that what this 70% is at Swift, that they're going to get over there and they're going to be upset when it turns out to be a lot less money than they thought it was. Or when they learn that contract freight is different than spot market freight. And what a company thinks market value is and what actual market value is are totally different numbers. But you know, he does put out some good videos. I've seen some good videos from him, and as a person, he's a good guy. And so I get why some people follow him over there, but you've got to do your homework with any company. You can't just watch one YouTuber, whether it's me, whether it's him, whether it's somebody else, and formulate your opinion. I've done videos about how to check a company out, about looking at their Safer score, about talking to drivers, about reading online reviews. I generally try to find 10 good reviews and 10 bad reviews, and I generally figure the truth is somewhere in the middle. I also don't count reviews from spouses, because male or female, because you know the driver will come home and say, this company stinks, and they blew all their money in the casino. It had nothing to do with the company, or they didn't know how to buy fuel or something like that. So I try to find 10 good, 10 bad, and base a decision on the reviews somewhere in the middle of that. If you get a bunch that say, hey, they're going to rip you off on your pay, then maybe there's something to that. Or if they always ignore your home time, or whatever the review's about. But if it's just one or two people, then maybe there's not a lot of truth to it. And same thing with Safer score. If I look at a driver's Safer score and the vehicle maintenance is really high, above the threshold, then I know that the drivers aren't making money there, because the first thing drivers neglect when they're struggling financially is vehicle maintenance. If the driver fitness is bad, then I know that that company is loose on safety, and they're going to probably ask you to do things that you shouldn't do, because that's driver fitness is like DOT medical card, things like that. So I can tell a lot about a company by looking at their Safer score. If the company says you're going to get 3,500 miles a week, and it shows the annual miles that they reported to FMCSA on there, if you divide that by the number of trucks they say they have, and then divide that by 52, you get the weekly total average miles per truck. If they're saying 3,500 and I check it and it's 1,200, then either they've got a lot of empty trucks sitting, or they're lying about their average mileage per week. So you've got to check those things yourself. Also, you got to take into account where that YouTuber lives in with respect to where the company is. Maybe the truck or the YouTuber lives in an area that's really good for that company. Maybe you live in Lubbock, Texas, like I do, and it's a lot harder to make those miles just because of where you live. You got to factor in all these things. All right, let's see here. Big Tony says, okay, I was looking at either the 8 Pro 2 or the Rand Tablet 8 or 1050. So the 8 Pro 2 would be exactly like what I've got, only mine's a 7, so my screen's an inch smaller. I would probably go with either the Rand Tablet 8 or the 1050, just depending on how big a screen you want. I know that a lot of us think we want the biggest possible screen we can get, because that's what we want with our cell phones. I'd caution you to be careful there when it comes to GPSs. The problem is when you start getting up around a 10-inch screen, they're so heavy they fall off your windshield a lot. Like me, when I run my bigger GPSs, I run a bungee cord from the defroster vents up to the mount to help hold it on the dash, because the bouncing and the extra weight will knock it loose. Todd Packer, it's just so funny that he recruits now. Who would ever sign up with that clown? He will be at a new job in a month. Um, I'm laughing not at him, but because people said the same thing about me. Um, I hope he makes it there. Um, because, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest here. It's going to get me in trouble. I know that. He's had a lot of job changes in the past 24 months. And it can be difficult at our age. He and I are close in age. I think I'm a year or two older than him. It can be difficult to find trucking jobs. Now, he's got his own truck now, but the last video I saw of his, he was talking about getting rid of that truck and doing a lease purchase truck with Swift, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Here you are building equity in a truck that you could go to anywhere with if things went sideways with Swift, and you're talking about giving it up, having that go on your credit, and getting a Swift truck where if things go sideways, you don't have a truck. You're back at square one again. You guys know I've got my own truck. I'm buying it from an individual. The only way I would do another lease purchase right now is if I had no other choice. If I lost this truck, then yeah, I might have to do one. But I would still try to buy one on my own instead of doing a lease purchase. Lease purchase at this point in my life would be a last resort. Not saying I would never do it. It just wouldn't be my first choice. And I definitely wouldn't call the guy I'm buying this truck from and say, hey, come get your truck. I've decided I'm going to do a lease purchase again. Todd Packer, now he's saying that an SFI truck is actually a good deal. What Swift offers is the best. So I don't know that I've changed my mind on SFI. SFI has some nice equipment. It is a little overpriced. You do pay it off. I believe it's a 3-year deal, and then it's got a pretty good sized balloon payment on the end of it. And sometimes they'll finance it, and sometimes they won't. It's not a great deal for sure. I don't know that it's a terrible deal because you're entering it with no money down. And you're always going to pay more when you don't have any money down. And, they're there to make money. They know when they lease it to you, there's a good possibility you're not going to complete the lease. I just think some of their monthly payments or weekly payments, are predatory. And they're fine as long as you never take time off or break down. But the first time you break down and it's a couple of week repair, they're still going to hit your account every Friday. They don't defer payments, or they don't like to. Things like that. If you decide you want to switch companies, it's very costly to do it. I believe they apply that money to your balloon payment at the end, but I don't know that for sure. But for example, I looked at getting one of their trucks and bringing it over here to SRO. And because SRO is a small company and they'd never ran a truck through him before, they wanted $8,500 down. Now, granted, I'd be getting a new or nearly new truck, fairly well equipped, but there's a lot of dealerships that I could get a comparable truck for $5,000 down instead of $8,500. And then if something went sideways with Scott, I wouldn't have to pay SFI again to move the truck somewhere else. So SFI is not my first choice. I don't think it's the worst choice out there, but it's definitely not my first choice. There's a company called HEC Leasing out of Nashville. They've actually got some pretty good deals. Their down payments can get up there too if you're not careful. And all their trucks look the same. They're all white, and they're all on the plainer side, kind of like what's that other company? TEL. They're kind of like their trucks, but if you need a truck and you got a few $1,000s to put down, HEC Leasing out of Nashville has some good deals. Accelerate has some okay trucks, but they're going to be, 400,000 or 500,000 miles usually. There's Diamond Truck Sales. they can be okay. They've got some mixed reviews, so I'd really thoroughly check out any truck I got from them. LRM has, I believe they're in Florida as well as in Fort Worth. They've got some trucks, mostly Freightliners now, but there's just a lot of other options that I would consider if I had a few thousand down before I did a lease purchase. Just for the simple fact, if you ever leave the company, you've got something you can take with you. Elon Parkinson said, that's what he said on his live. If you don't use his name, he can help you. And again, I don't want to second guess him if that's how he operates and his followers, his subscribers are okay with that, then to each their own. I can tell you right now, if you go to Roadrunner, if you go to Swift, if you go to Dart, if you go to F2F, I don't make a penny off of that, but I'll still help you if you call me or email me. I'll still help you. Heck, we've got people right here at SRO Logistics that I spent extensive amounts of time emailing them and helping them, and they'll go on other YouTube channels and talk crap about me now until the next time they need help, and then they'll call me and want help, and I still help them. Like I said, I like people that hate my guts. Just because you hate me doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hate you back. I'll still help you. Everybody has a right to be wrong. Gary Cook, channel member. What's your opinion on Carrollton going bankrupt? Hadn't heard nothing about it. When did this happen? Recent? Todd Parker, Delon, I'm watching him too. I can confirm. That's another tactic that a lot of YouTubers do when they're trying to grow their channel, is they'll pick fights with other channels, with other YouTube channels, trying to get drama started, back and forth, arguing. I'm not going to do that. I wish the guy well, but we've chosen different paths. We run our YouTube channels differently. Our ethics are different, and some people share his ethics and they're going to do what he does, and some people share my ethics and they're going to do what I do. And so I hope that his philosophy works for him. I know it's a good time management. If I would have only said I'm going to help people that it benefits me to help, I wouldn't lose my voice so many times. I'd be on the phone a lot less. I'd be a lot easier to reach. You see, right now, we hadn't even gone an hour and 20 minutes yet, and I'm already losing my voice. I've been on the phone all day, and I'll probably have 4 or 5 phone calls when I get off the phone tonight, off the live tonight. I got a little time on this load, though, so I'm not sweating it. Delon, I'm assuming most of the guys that are going over there with him are guys that are just desperate to be called an owner-operator. Not even speaking specifically about his guys. I remember back in, this had to be 2004, when I worked at Prime Inc. There were guys that they didn't care, and I mean this seriously. Prime would let you advance 10 cents a mile on your pay. So you ran 3,000 miles or were dispatched 3,000 miles, you could advance $300 a week. Back in the early 2000s, that was a decent amount of money. There was guys that would live on that, $250, $300 a week, and they didn't care if they got a check or not, as long as they got to ride around in a pretty truck and call themselves an owner-operator. I think it happens more modern day now with Hurricane. There's a lot of guys over there losing their tail, but they're driving a big, pretty hooded truck, and that's all they care about. I talked to Hurricane at one point about going to work there, because we'd all love to have a truck like that with wood cabinets and stacks and a hood and all that, until they told me I had to go to Hunts Point twice a month. Well, that might as well be forced dispatch. I'm not going to Hunts Point. And they also wanted to regulate my home time. So basically what that told me was I was going to be a glorified company driver just for the privilege of driving one of their big, pretty trucks. And I never heard, well, you're going to pay it off at this point. Your buyout will be whatever, $1 or 10 million or whatever. It was, you'll drive this truck for 90 days and then you can upgrade to this truck, and you drive it for this length of time and then you can upgrade to this truck. So they never really wanted to hand you the title. And I just, it wasn't very appealing to me. Now, as soon as I start talking crap about them, something will happen and I'll end up having to go to work for them. But they wouldn't be at the top of my list either, for sure. Delon says, Todd, I just cringe whenever he starts bloviating. Well, every YouTuber is guilty of that at some point. I've had people say, well, Todd, you're full of yourself. You think your crap don't stink. You think you know it all. And I would say you have to be a little bit full of yourself to sit in front of your laptop or sit in front of your phone and talk to yourself for 10 or 15 minutes uninterrupted. And you do go through times where your ego is challenged both ways. There's days where the trolls really get me good, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then there's days where everybody's calling you, telling you how great you are and how smart you are, and you think you can do no wrong. You're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And the truth is, we're all just normal people like you are. Some of us have done it a little longer. We've made a few more mistakes, so we can offer a little more advice. Some of us are just salespeople in sheep's clothing, and we're trying to sell you something, whether it's good for you or not. And you have to see through all of it and realize there's good and bad in all of us. And yeah, there's certain YouTubers I like in moderation. I can watch, 5 minutes of them, 10 minutes of them, and then I got to get off of there. They give me a headache. And there's some of them I can't watch that long. But yeah, he's definitely got a following over there, and I'm glad he's happy doing what he's doing. I understand he's about to start selling hats. For those of you that are big fans of his, you can get you a Fly Rabbit hat. He had said before he's going to make some shirts that say, where's Fly Rabbit working this week? I think I'd like one of those shirts when they come out. If he wants to mail me one, I'll wear it in a video. Todd Packer, sometimes it's better to be a company driver than try and lease a truck with no money down and get yourself into crazy situations. Owning equipment is not for everyone, especially if you're not ready. Yes, sir, I agree completely. And there's no shame in it. Just because this channel's mostly been about lease purchase doesn't mean that I think bad about company drivers or that I wouldn't be a company driver. I got to admit, it'd be tough at this point because I'm so used to picking my loads and doing my own thing. But it's by far a lot less stressful. If the truck needs 4 drive tires or 2 steer tires, that's what I was trying to say. It's easy to just go up to your boss and say, hey, I need 2 steers and 4 drives. And then go home, not worry about it. The truck's fixed when you come back. Or go in there, hey, it needs a service. Get on it. Those are all things you don't have to worry about when you're a company driver, or when you come home, crawling under the truck and looking for leaks and looking for potential problems. You park it at the yard and the shop goes through the truck while you're at home with your family. So there's also benefits, insurance, things like that. The older you get, the more you appreciate benefits. And so, I don't know, maybe it's time I did a video and talk about the benefits of being a company driver, because there definitely are some, but there's also some benefits of being an owner-operator. And, I can't believe how easy easily we as truck drivers are willing to tear each other down. And, oh, I'm better than you because you're lease purchase and I own my truck. Or, oh, you're less than me because you're a company driver and I'm a lease purchase. Or, I'm better than you because I'm a local driver. I mean, we're all moving stuff from point A to point B. And the quicker we can stop digging into each other and start helping each other, the better off we're all going to be. Wow. So I guess that was my Wednesday rant. It wasn't 60 seconds though. Life on 18 is here. What's happening, Todd? Not much, my friend. How have you been doing? Gary Cook, channel member. Yes, within the last couple of weeks. Let me see what he's talking about. I've done got a. Ah, okay, yeah, Carol Fulmer. Um, from what I understand, they had a lot of lawsuits that were really hurting them. What surprises me is nobody tried to buy them out. But yeah, I was really, really surprised about that. That was a couple of weeks ago. I'd already forgot about it. Todd Packer, Fly Rabbit, also like to block people as soon as they start questioning his tactics. Yeah, I've got the rule I've always had about blocking people is, and I told my moderators this, somebody can come on here and disagree with me. They can say, Todd, I disagree with everything you're saying, and that's fine. As long as we can keep it respectful, we can debate back and forth. When we start the name calling or the threatening, that's when people got to go, and we can decide if it's a timeout for 10 minutes or if it's a permanent ban. I don't really want to permanently ban anybody, and I recently removed the blocks on everybody, even the trolls, because I like to hear different opinions and things like that. And so I'm okay with somebody disagreeing with me. I just say, let's keep it civil. We may argue for 30 minutes and have to agree to disagree, but let's hear different opinions. On rare occasions, somebody might change my mind or I might change their mind, but we're not going to change anybody's mind if we just block everybody that disagrees with us. Yeah, Gary Roger Berry says he must be talking about Carol Fulmer. Yeah, Gary Cook was asking what I thought about Carol Fulmer closing, and that's what I had heard. It was due to pending lawsuits, and I don't even know what pending lawsuits. I really didn't go into it that deep. My big takeaway was I just couldn't believe nobody bought them up. Delon says, Todd Packer, they're calling you a troll on his channel. Todd Packer says, P.U. Patel is a troll. I've seen him talking smack about Fly Rabbit on Narc's channel. P.U. Patel has been coming in here for a long time. I don't know what he does on other channels, but he's always been good in here. I don't have any beef with P.U. Patel or Narc for that matter. I haven't seen Narc's channel in a long time. I was told that Narc was kind of retiring from the YouTubes, and so I didn't even know he was still making videos. But I haven't followed him in a while. I don't know what Narc's doing, but I can always say P.U. Patel has always been good when he came in here, left good comments. I think he kind of bounces around from channel to channel. I think he'll watch me for a few minutes and then go over to another YouTuber and come back, which is fine. I know a lot of y'all are doing that tonight, going over and seeing what Fly Rabbit says and coming back and seeing what I say. That's all fine. But yeah, P.U. Patel's been good to me. I can't say anything negative about him. And Gary Cook's reminding everybody, he's a channel member, he's reminding everybody He was asking about Carol Fulmer. And Life on 18 says he absolutely agrees, Todd. Well, good deal. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I think we got to be careful throwing around that term troll, and I'm not saying anybody's doing it wrong here, but it's easy, and I'm guilty of this. Let me throw myself under the bus. Sometimes I'll see a comment pop up, and I'll only see the first three or four words of it, and I'll roll my eyes and go, oh, that's probably a troll comment. And then I'll go in there and read it, and they're saying something nice, or they're asking a good question. And so we have to be careful not to assume that everybody that disagrees with us is a troll. Everybody that doesn't like us is a troll, things like that. There's some people that genuinely disagrees with us, and that's okay. That's what makes the conversation interesting. I like bringing people on that disagree with me, as long as I know that we are going to have a respectful conversation. It's not going to descend into name calling. I love having a good-hearted, clean debate, and the problem is people can't do that for long. If they start losing the debate, then they start saying, well, you're stupid, or you're this, or you're that, and there's no place for that. Let's talk the issues. What do you think about ELDs? What do you think about the English language proficiency? What do you think about the truck market? What do you think about the spot market? Let's debate those things. And let's both have an open mind when we do it. Like I say, maybe we'll agree, maybe we'll disagree, but we'll probably learn something from each other, and that's always good. I occasionally, and I think most people know my political leanings, but if you don't, most of the days I listen to one particular news source. Occasionally I'll flip over and listen to the competitors because I want to hear the other side. I want to hear what the other side thinks. Occasionally I'll listen to an audio book from somebody that I know I'm going to disagree with because I want to know what they think, why they think the way they do. And, same thing with Fly Rabbit. I may disagree with some tactics on his channel. I may disagree with some things he says, but occasionally I may flip over and watch one of his videos because I want to hear how the other half thinks. And incidentally, the last 6 or 7 times I've flipped over in one of his videos, my name always comes up. So I know I'm occupying rent-free space over there, and that's fine. It's nice to be thought of, even if it's not favorable things. There's another couple of guys with the YouTube channel. They gifted me a channel membership a while back by accident, and I watched their channel a couple of times, and they think I'm the biggest clown on YouTube, or they used to. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what their thoughts are now. At one time, they thought I was the biggest clown on YouTube. You couldn't believe anything I said. So I like to hear their thoughts and opinions as well. Todd Packer, I'd rather wear my underwear on my head than a Fly Rabbit hat. Well, I had a guy, this is back when I worked at DART. He said, Todd, I really wish you'd come out with some merchandise. He said, I want a coffee mug with your picture on it. I said, why? I said, I don't even want to look at my face in the morning when I'm having breakfast. Why would you want a coffee mug with Todd? But that's what he wanted, was a coffee mug with my face on it. And, I've been promising it for a couple of years. Eventually, we're going to have merchandise. It kind of handles itself once you get it set up, but it is a pain in the butt to set up that stuff. And I don't know that the demand for it now is what it was at one time. That ship may have sailed. I don't know if I'd sell enough of it to make it worth it. But I would like to get at least a couple of T-shirts, a couple of hats, maybe a couple of coffee mugs or some insulated mugs out there for those that really want it. Hey, Skyline is here. He says, hello, Mr. Skyline. How are you, sir? Tonight, along with my soft drink I'm drinking, I'm eating a can of beans, Bush's baked beans. Give y'all a few more seconds to type and then Todd Packer, P.U. Patel was also making fun of you, Todd. I'm just saying nothing against you, but he does talk a lot of stuff on other channels. Like I said, it would be a boring world if everybody agreed with everything I said or everything I did. If he was critical of something I've said or something I've done on another channel, that's fine. I wish he would come in here on the channel and tell me though, because I can take constructive criticism. If he's got some ideas on how the show could be better, or if he thinks one of my opinions on something is wrong, I would love to hear. I would love to hear different views. I've never heard P.U. Patel say anything mean or out of line, and so. But even if he disagreed with me on another channel, that's fine. I just wish they'd come in the comments here and tell me. I might could learn from it. Skyline the Trucker. I'm in Grayson, Kentucky at the Loves for tonight. Oh, that sounds good. I'm over here in South Dakota on Interstate 90. Parts unknown with a terrible AT&T signal. Jay Leatherman. Todd Packer is a troll. He just got booted from Fly Rabbit's page. Todd Packer, yeah, he booted me for saying P.U. Patel is a troll. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. As I said, I'm not watching Fly Rabbit's show tonight. I don't know the context or nothing like that. It's pretty hard to get booted on my channel. Obviously, I want to keep it kind of clean in the comments because my grandkids watch sometimes. Family watches, even my pastor watches sometimes. So I'd like to keep the comments fairly clean. But I mean, people are welcome to disagree with me. We can discuss different things. I know that I get cussed and discussed on other channels. That's fine. But I would hope that people would come in here and cuss and discuss me here. Maybe not cuss, but at least discuss me here. If somebody's got a grievance or a beef with something I've said or done, let's work it out. Kevin Snipes. Good evening, Todd. Glad to hear from you. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. Long time no see. Todd Packer, but what I mean is he wasn't being critical about anything, just making fun of other people. That's why I called him out. Well, I'm guilty of that. I make fun of people on here. Heck, I make fun of myself on here sometimes. I've said before, you can't laugh at others until you can laugh at yourself first, or you shouldn't laugh at others till you can laugh at yourself first. I think good-hearted fun's okay. And again, I can't comment specifics because I don't know what he said or did or didn't say or didn't do. But generally speaking, I think we need to go back to a time. You know, I remember not that many years ago on the CB radio, we would debate politics and stuff for hours to keep ourselves awake while we were driving at night. And rarely did it result in somebody saying, pull over, let's fight. Usually it was just to keep each other awake. And usually there was some laughter, some back and forth. And now we can't do that. When I was in high school, two guys could have a fist fight, and 30 minutes later, they were having lunch together. Everything was fine. Nobody went home and got a pew pew, and nobody went and got their big brother or their little brother or whatever to come fight for them. We need to get to a place where we can disagree, where we can hear opposing thoughts and not automatically assume somebody's a racist or somebody's a homophobe or nothing like that. And so, I mean, I've heard stuff said about me that I thought was funny. I've heard stuff said about me that I thought was unfair too, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just say, when you come on here, I really don't want to block anybody. I'd rather give you a timeout for a few minutes, think about what you said, and then come back in. And so unless we get to some really bad name calling, I'm probably not going to block anybody. I encourage differing thoughts, differing opinions. And we've had some good debates over the year about if lease purchase is a good idea, what part of the country to run, which is a better truck, things like that. We've had some good debates over the year. Todd Packer, Todd, what you're doing with this channel, there's nothing wrong with. You talk about great stuff and not pushing a company on any of us. Yeah, there was a time when people thought I did. People thought I pushed Swift. People thought I pushed Dart. People thought I pushed Roadrunner. And I don't think I did. I showed my check stubs. You could see on my face that I was excited to be at those places. And even now, I still talk good about those places. And I think that's the best recruiting tool there is. I think if you are genuinely happy, people can see it on your face. And people want to know, well, Todd, why was you so good at selling Ford vehicles? Because I generally believed in the product I was selling. And I would get excited, and the customers would get excited because they could see the excitement on my face. I wasn't doing a walk around on a vehicle to try to get you to buy it. And I should have been, but I was going, hey, this is cool. Check out what this vehicle does. Hey, this is cool. Look what it does. Look why it does this. And people could feel the excitement in me, and it made them excited. And as opposed to when I sold used cars, I really had to change my mindset because I was helping a lot of people with credit issues and things like that. And the people were a lot more grateful. So for there, I had to say, how can I most help this customer? You know, this single mom has 4 kids and she wants a Camaro, but she needs a minivan. How can I convince her that minivan is going to be better for her family than that Camaro is? And then, you know, come Christmas time, they were bringing me Christmas presents and stuff because they saw that I was really trying to help them. And they're bringing me their friends and neighbors and saying, hey, I told them how honest you are. I had, at one car lot I worked at in Lubbock, I had a group of people that would come by and drink coffee with me every morning. Most people know I don't even drink coffee unless it's super cold outside. But I had about 4 or 5 people. They just wanted to hang out with me every day. And as long as I didn't have a customer, I'd sit there while they drank coffee and talk to them every morning after they bought a car from me. And so that's what I say about recruiting now is that I want to be able to run into people at Walmart or at the truck stop and them say, hey, your video really helped me. I don't want them to run into me at the truck stop and go, Todd, you lied to me. And my car got repossessed because I went to this company that you said was great, and they're not. You know, my wife left me because I went to that company and I could never go home, and we were always broke. And so, you know, I'm in a different situation now. I'm at a really good company, but it's a really small company. And I know that realistically, I'm probably only going to get 2 or 3 people a year there. And that's fine. I'm going to make sure that those 2 or 3 people are really good people that'll succeed here. And this guy that I got coming this week, he's sharp as a tack. If anybody can do it, he can. And so I'm excited for him to come over here. I'm excited to bring him on the channel in a few weeks and talk to him, pick his brain, see why he decided to come here and things like that. But I get calls every week from people considering Roadrunner, Swift, or Dart, and I still talk to them, even though it doesn't benefit me financially at all, unless they go back and watch one of my old videos or something like that. And I never know if they do or don't, but I help them either way. And occasionally you'll see them pop up in the comments here saying, thanks for your help this week, Todd, or Todd, that video you did on this really helped me. So it's not just me bloviating. There are times when you'll see it in the comments here. All right, let's get back to the comments. I've talked long enough that y'all should have had time to type something. Todd Packer said, but what I mean is he wasn't being critical about anything, just making fun of people. That's why I called him out. I got you. Todd Packer. Todd, oh, okay, I've already read this one too. Sorry, folks. This signal tonight's kind of got me rattled, it going down a couple of times. So my good friend made it in. He had plans tonight, so I didn't think he was going to be here. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross says, hello, friends from Oklahoma City. Just had a nice dinner with a lady friend on my way to Kansas City. There you go. Like I said, I'm on my way up there too, but it looks like he's going to get there before me and be gone before I got there. P.U. Patel, Todd Packer just likes to stir the pot. I'm on Trucker Todd and Fly Rabbit's channel. I don't smack on either of them. Todd knows I'm on here off and on. Yes, sir, P.U. Patel. I was just talking good about you. I was telling him you've been coming on here for a while and you've always got good comments and good input. And, one of the criticisms was that you go on Narc's channel. I didn't know Narc was still making videos, but I don't have nothing against Narc. He does his thing. But P.U. Patel's always been nice to me. I don't have a beef with him. I know Narc at times doesn't like me, but I don't have a beef with Narc. Just because somebody doesn't agree with everything I say or do everything I do doesn't necessarily mean I don't like them or that I've got a beef with them. I want everybody to do well in whatever way they're doing it. One thing I know about Narc for sure is he is a really good mechanic, and I've told him this before. I wish he would do a YouTube channel and share his expertise. I think there's a lot that we in the trucking community could learn from him about maintenance and repairs and things like that. But P.U. Patel's always been good when he came in my channel. If he's a troll, I have not experienced that. I don't remember experiencing that. I just remember good comments out of him. So I guess we could do that real quick. Who all's been blocked by a Fly Rabbit tonight? It got kind of confusing for a minute. It sounds like 3 or 4 of you might have got blocked tonight. I've never seen Todd Packer before tonight. I don't know who he is. But he's been cool in here tonight. He hasn't done anything to me or said anything super disrespectful or nothing. I've never seen him in here before. We had some new faces tonight, and that's always good to see. We didn't have a very big crowd tonight. Didn't think we would. Wednesday's not my normal night, and I've had a lot of technical difficulties. Almost didn't get to come on tonight, so I'm not sure how well notifications went out or anything like that. But I'm sure we'll have a lot in the replay gang And hopefully the replay gang, if you're not subscribed, you'll go ahead and do that and give this video a thumbs up. P.U. Patel says, I would talk smack on Jason Pope back when Narc would troll him, but I never talked smack on Trucker Todd. I like Trucker Todd. So Jason Pope, it's funny because I'd watched a couple of his videos prior to him coming to Swift, but I never really followed him or knew much about him until he came to Swift. And he called me and he's like, hey, Trucker Todd, I'm Jason Pope, Trucker's coach. I'm thinking about coming to Swift. And I was like, great. And he's like, I got some ideas. I can help you with your channel. And back then I was trying to grow the channel real hard. I thought, man, that'd be great. He offered me some advice on my channel. And I followed some of it. Some of it I didn't follow. And came to Swift. Then we had that problem where him and 404 Dave tried to steal a referral from me. And he ended up paying me for it, so we were fine. But we had that one blow up that night. And for some reason, people thought he and I were best friends. And we were never best friends. We've never met in person. We were at best working at the same company and had a few conversations. Never best friends, never close. I could count on one hand the number of times we've talked on the phone. We've texted a few times, and that was it. Haven't talked to him in months. I don't know what company he's working for, but I mean, several times when I've applied for jobs, they've asked me, are you friends with the trucker's coach? And I would say I know him. I wouldn't say we're friends. We know each other, but we don't talk regularly or nothing like that. And even when I purchased this truck from the guy that I bought the truck from, he asked me, hey, Todd, are you friends with Trucker's coach? I said, no, not really. And he said, well, if you would have told me, yeah, I wouldn't have sold you the truck. And so there's a lot of misunderstanding. Jason Pote's kind of in the same boat that Fly Rabbit is. I don't wish either of them bad. I hope they land on their feet. I hope they both get great jobs and lead happy lives. But I just don't talk to either one of them anymore. We run in different circles. The last time I talked to Jason, he was pulling flowers out of Florida, claimed he was making, I think he said $3 a mile or something, and it was by text. And I said, well, that's good to hear, man. I'm glad you landed on your feet. I'm glad things are going well. And same thing with Fly Rabbit. It's been a few months since I talked to him. The last actual conversation we had on the phone, well, the second to the last conversation we had on the phone was really good. The last conversation we had on the phone was kind of heated. Some intermediaries got us on the phone talking to each other, and that conversation didn't go well. And I just determined at that point there wasn't really a reason for us to talk anymore. I'm sure if there becomes a reason where we need to talk in the future, we'll talk at that time. But right now, there's just not a lot of reason for us to talk anymore. And we got a super chat here. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator with the $20. It's my birthday next week. Robbie Ross says, well, happy birthday to you, my friend. Let me know what day and I'll call you on that day. Today is my uncle Racing Ray's birthday. He popped in earlier just for a second. The family's having dinner together tonight at his house, and he had to get back to that, but he wanted to stop in, and I called him right before the show and told him happy birthday. I sure wish I could have been there. But thank you so much for the super chat there, Robbie Ross. If any of you others want to do that, there's a little $sign down by where you type your comment. You can click on that. There's also a join button down there. You can become a channel member. You can also gift memberships, which is something that several of the channel members, especially Robbie Ross, used to do in the past. You can gift like 5 memberships to other people, and YouTube will randomly select people to receive those memberships. I used to put channel membership videos out. I haven't done it lately. I hope to be able to get back to that at some point. But I definitely appreciate everybody being here tonight as we creep up on that 2-hour mark. You take another drink. I can feel my voice going. All right, give y'all just a second. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I was doing multiple things there at once. You know, I told you at the start of the video, I had to leave my phone up front to have enough signal. One of the group chats I'm in, they were telling some funny stuff that they didn't think I knew, but I did know. P.U. Patel, are you still on Monjaro? You seem like you've lost a lot of weight. Yes, sir. I'm down right around 220 right now. So I took the last dose last week. I missed Sunday's dose this week. I'm trying to get back to Lubbock so I can go to the pharmacy and pick up another 3 months of it. It's hard to get it out here on the road. I have got it out here on the road. But what Walmart does is they create a new profile for you each time you move it to a different Walmart. And it just makes it really confusing to get refills. So I'm trying to get back to Lubbock so that I can get some more. But yeah, I'm still dropping weight on it. Gary Cook, channel member. How's your health doing since your stroke? Do you find yourself scared of having another one? So there's been a couple of times that I've been scared. Um, Obviously, when I'm in extremely stressful situations, I always worry that's a possibility. The day that I blew the airbag and the load shifted, I was pretty rattled that day. Scott did an excellent job of calming me down, talking me off the mountain. I'm a natural worrier anyway. And so, but yeah, that kind of rattled me pretty good. The other day, I got really, really hot, and that kind of scared some friends of mine. They were worried. I haven't had any like stuff like I had before where I thought it was imminent, but I get nervous anytime I get super hot or super stressed. But I think I'm doing okay. I would say, those weekend videos I did, I went back and watched them, and I looked pretty sharp in them mentally in those videos. So I feel like I'm coming back pretty strong. I did have 15 strokes in one day, but they were all minor. And the doctor said, in 6 or 8 months, you'll be 100%. And I was not 100% after 6 or 8 months. And I still don't think I'm 100%, but I'm in the 90s. I think I'm better than what I thought I would ever be. And that's why I'm interested in bringing somebody on the show that has differing views than me. I'd like to see if I'm at the point where I could debate somebody and if I'm sharp enough to do it. And maybe we'll do that. The guy that I've got coming on the next couple of weeks, he and I talk on the phone multiple times a week. And so I don't look for a lot of disagreement there. I'm sure there'll be something we'll disagree on, but I don't think it'll be a real strenuous debate. I've got some trucking companies that want to come on the show and talk, and I don't ever want those to be a gotcha moment either. Somebody asked me to bring on Super Ego and talk to them. I think that'd be fun to do, but I definitely want to be sharp when I do that. I want to be well rested, and I want to be able to bring it to them. So we'll see. We'll see what's coming, but I think I'm okay right now. Losing weight's helping a lot, though. A lot of problems that I had even prior to the stroke are a lot better now that the weight's coming off. And I'm getting out and walking. I believe it was over the weekend. I had to do some sitting because I couldn't deliver till Monday morning. And I walked all around like a 3-block radius. I did a lot of walking. And what I've got to start doing is taking my gimbal and my phone and recording videos and just talking while I walk, because you end up walking further like that. But yeah, I'm doing all that kind of stuff, trying to get healthier a little at a time. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. Tuesday the 19th is Robbie Ross's birthday. I hope I do a show that night. I hope I'm in an area where my signal's strong enough that we can do a show and tell him happy birthday again. Just waiting on my computer. It's lagging a little bit tonight. Come on. There it goes. P.U. Patel, who's going to be your next guest? Have you announced it yet? Not sure about next guest because I may have somebody on before, but the one that I'm looking forward to for sure, I'm looking forward to all of them, but the one I've been discussing tonight is a guy that's starting at SRO Logistics this week. He bought him a new truck, and he's coming over here. He's a good friend of mine, been a good friend of mine for a few years now, since my early Swift days. And so he's got a lot of knowledge. He's worked at a few different companies, some of the big mega carriers, J.B. Hunt, Schneider, places like that. He's currently running the spot market at another carrier. And I'm looking forward to bringing him on and picking his brain and seeing what he's got to say, what he thinks about SRO logistics. It'll be a new take. You guys know what I think of SRO logistics, what I like, what I don't like. It'll be interesting to bring him on, see what he likes, what he doesn't like, and what he thought about the other companies he's worked at, what his experience is, things like that. So definitely when I get him hammered down on a date that we're going to have him on, I'll do some community posts and let y'all know it's coming. If I do any videos prior to him coming on, I'll announce it in those videos, because I think it's going to be one of the better shows that we do. I think there's going to be a lot of great information shared. So I'm looking forward to that. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, do you mind me mentioning the warranty issue with North Baltimore, Ohio Petro? No, go ahead. We've already talked about it. So I didn't use his name, but Robbie Ross was the guy that had the battery issue that we talked about earlier in the show. And he may put a comment adding to it and may not. I don't know. That'll be up to him. We're going to try to, I know I've been saying this for a while, we're going to try to get some of you people that I know and trust on the show in the coming episodes. Right now, the problem's being like tonight, my signal was not strong enough to support it. But when I get in good signal areas, and I think we can do it, we're going to start opening the show up and bringing some of y'all on. The best part about having this YouTube channel is I've been introduced to a lot of interesting characters, and it'll be fun to bring y'all on here and introduce the world to y'all as well. Who knows, it may launch your own YouTube channels. Give y'all just a few more minutes to type, and then if y'all don't have anything else, we'll move it on along. Still having internet problems. We're trying to get through it. All right, we don't have anything else here. We're at the 2 hour and 10-minute mark, or about to be, so I guess I'm going to hop off here and get back to work. Those of you that normally call me after the show, be patient, and hopefully you'll get me. If not, leave me a voicemail. I'll call you back as soon as I can. All right, folks, I'm going to say this to irritate my trolls, and then we'll play the exit out music. I am working on a new intro. Hopefully we'll have it out in the coming weeks. Y'all have a good night.
This is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs, but home on my mind. But these wheels turning round for my family and for my kids. For this life I wanna live.